If I lay down and tomorrow never comes, will I live forever in the people that I love? Will I be always in their hearts and minds? Will I be the one that they think of all the time? If I'm no longer there to make them smile, will they keep smiling if they don't know how? If I have to leave this world to reach heaven, will you answer me this one question? If I close my eyes and take my last breath, tell them that I love them. I love them. Will you hold them tightly in your arms so that everything will be alright? If I should leave, if I should die, if I should rise in your house tonight, will you wipe away the tears to me? If I live every day like it's the last day, and this was the last day of my life, will I know that my friends and my family understand that it's all alright? If I should leave, if I should die, I'll always be right by your side. If I was there with you in heaven, I would ask you this one question. If I close my eyes and take my last breath, tell them that I love them. I love them. Will you hold them tightly in your arms so that everything will be alright? If I should leave, if I should die, if I should rise in your house, if I'm saying goodbye, away the tears to me. If and I'm praying it's time for me to go away. Please dry the tears from your face. I don't wanna see no tears falling. You should know I'm in a special place. In your heart I'll always stay. I just had to answer God's calling. Now with your
favorite memories or the most memorable moments with Brandon would be probably opening day for baseball. The past 2 years, we'd argue for whose team was better. And so in honor of him, I got a hat, Boston Red Sox hat, with his name and number on the back, and also a jersey, name and number also, just to remember him, because he was a diehard Red Sox fan. For me, it's really hard to be touching this jersey because I'm a Yankees fan, but hey, he's a friend, and I'm sure that if I was to happen to go out like that, then I'm sure he would probably think of me in the same way. But I don't know, I just love talking baseball with him, even just quickly or whatnot, and just having good conversations about the time he wanted to come to Hawaii and stuff like that, and just chilling and making fun of Sonny for being a Brewers fan. And that's just about it.
Well, it's not really something special, but like the last memory I have of him is at Hawaii Club Luau. He came into I was helping out with like all the food for all the people after, and he came in and just like took a whole plate of Kula pig. That's all I remember. That's all he got, just Kula pig and rice, and stole all the halpia too. But, yeah.
Most favorite memory of him is he looks so much like that kid from Crazy, the Magic School Bus, the Arnold guy. Yeah, and then I used to always think like, oh, it's like in real life. And every time I saw him, that's the first thing that like always popped up in my head. And and his Where's Waldo beanie. Yeah, and his Jufro.
Anything else?
Okay, I'm good.
So, not my favorite memory, but the one that really sticks out most of Brandon is when we were playing volleyball and he decided to slide and he broke his pinky. No, but not that part. It's the part where he didn't want to go to the hospital that night because he was so diehard to go to the Harry Potter movie that we were seeing that night. But he drove to the hospital and came straight to the movies right after. He didn't even go home to sleep or anything to rest it. No, he came straight to the movie. He was set on that movie.
Oh, Brandon. fun. He always made it fun. Whether if it was like, I guess I get a lot of joy out of teaching people how to play sports and stuff. And he'd always ask me how to do certain things like hit the ball, sliding, and
You're the one.
but like throughout all his injuries and stuff, he's always played through it no matter what, especially through his I guess his broken ankle. He still played through that, and it really showed me that no matter what, you should just go out and try and do as much as you can no matter what. So pretty big inspiration.
I'd say pretty much every moment I had with Brandon was great. I'd say my favorite moments were whenever we were together. Like, we worked well together. We respected each other. And, sorry. Some of my favorite moments was when we would sell Italian cream sodas at, like, basketball games. It was more like I was the brains and he was the bronze. He did all the hard work while I handled the money. So that's my favorite moment.
I met Brandon like my semester after Australia. I was like, who's this kid coming to pick me up and chasing? It was him and Kristen. But I would say me and Brandon we're like pretty tight. I think so because we talked to each other about like a lot of different things. I miss most his random texts that would just talk shit to me. Like he always talked shit to me, but it was always like in a sarcastic way. So we always had like a sarcastic relationship. One of my, I guess, favoriteest moments about Brandon was that I went grocery shopping one time and it was by myself, and it was during the fall. I bought more than I could carry, so I had like my bag and stuff, and as I was walking back, it's pretty dark, and everything fell to the ground, and I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? So I called Brandon. He was with Audrey, and he was helping her move out, but I was like, Brandon, can you come help me? And he was like, yeah, where you at? So I told him where I was, and he ran to where I was. He got there within like 3-4 minutes, and he picked up everything for me, and he carried everything that I was carrying for me, walked me back to SDU, and then he helped me unload everything and put away everything. He was always helpful. He, like, whenever I needed somebody to talk to, he would listen, and he was just there all the time. And he always had like a positive perspective on everything. So I don't know, I miss him.
Funny story to tell about Brandon, because most students tend to avoid me until they're getting ready to graduate, and then they want a job, unless you're like Shane and he ends up in my class. But Brandon and I had several emails, and I actually knew his brother Tyler better, but I will say that for his mom, to parent myself, that she did such a good job raising her boys, because they were so well loved, and I think this is such a testament to her as well.
My favorite memory with Brandon was whenever he would see me, he would pick me up and give me like the biggest bear hug ever. And another thing was when we went to Disney World, we had like a lot of fun. And whenever he would see like Trevor, he would always like do some sexual stuff, like love me, and they would love to see my reaction because I'm kind of a pretty like, I don't know, what is that called? Animated person, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I miss you.
Brandon was always a good person. I always remember him as being always willing to lend a hand if you needed help. He was always there. Especially, I know you guys don't know, he was a Circle K person. And he took over my spot, and so he was always there when nobody showed up to meetings, or he was always one of them there. I was willing to help out, clean up. First one there, last one to leave. And he's always positive and just an overall good person. I'm glad to have known him.
Brandon was the only person I knew who could play basketball with jeans. He would wear Converse, or he would wear his little Vans shoes, and jeans and a V-neck, and that's how he would play it in every single sport. Um, Me and Brandon had a love relationship. We always used to have the most passionate hugs. We used to hold hands all the time. I know we both enjoyed it, but I think the only reason why we enjoyed it is because we love to see everyone else's reactions. Um, um, but and I have no idea how we started to hug. It started with just shaking hands, and then it kind of progressed.
Who cares?
But Brandon was always there, just like Keone said. He was always the first one in, last one out. He would help with literally everything. If you need help with anything, he would always be there. And I find myself thinking about him every day, in every situation. Sometimes when I talk to my friends that I knew in high school, that I knew longer than Brandon, I tend to brag about Brandon, like how great of a friend he is. You know, I tend to brag like, oh yeah, Brandon would do this for me, he would do that for me. And I only knew him from freshman to sophomore year, but I felt like our relationship was cut short, and we shared so much memories and so much love and so much memories together that it could last a whole lifetime. And I hope he's up there with God, watching all over us, and especially over Auntie. I know it's a really rough time right now, but you just gotta hang in there, and we all love you. And we also love Brandon and the whole Pellerin family, and we just want to say thank you for bringing someone that special into our lives.
I met Brandon when he was a freshman. It was my first year as an RA, and he would always be in Kristen O'Connor's room, and I would just always be hanging out, and that's just how I first met Brandon. And I wasn't like super close with him. I mean, we didn't talk every day, but he was just one of those people where you would pass by him, and he would just like, even if you were like just having the worst day of your life or just mad because you got like a C or something, you would just see him and just be like, he would just like look at you and be like, what's wrong? And just with a smile on, if he had a cast or his crutches on, anything like that, he would just be so happy, and he would just be like, no, like cheer up, and just give you like the biggest hug. That made like, it just made you feel like there's so much more. It just really makes you appreciate life. And even though I wasn't the closest with him, he really did give me a lot. And he made me realize how special life is. And don't ever take for granted what you have. And just, even if you're having a bad day, no matter what, you're blessed to be living. And I think he gave all of us that. And even though his life was cut short, he blessed each and every one of us. Yeah, thank you.
I didn't really start talking to Brandon until like sophomore year, but I guess like my favorite thing about him is that like whenever you would see him, he would always like just like put up his hand. He used to be like make a big chest like in the hallway, and he made like he was always gonna high five me, and then he always be like, aha, got you. And I guess I'm gonna miss that about him. And my favorite memory of him is I was reading my Hunger Game book in the library at work, and he was leaving IT, and he was standing by the door for like a good 5 minutes, just like waving to me. And I saw something like at the side of my eye, and I was like, okay, whatever, I guess it'll just go away. And then he like kept waving, and I was like, gosh, what is that? So like I looked, and then like I looked back at my book because I was like really into it, and like I saw it was Brad waving for 5 minutes. Okay, so he was waving at the door for like a good 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, how long have you been standing there? Okay, well, I just said that. He's been standing there for 5 minutes, whatever. So then I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, hi. And then he was like, oh, it's okay if you didn't see me soon. I was just going to walk away. And I was like, you've been waiting for 5 minutes. Like, how much longer were you going to wait? And then, like, he comes up to me to talk to me, and I was like, oh my god, your shirt, it's like that dude. I know him, he's from Star Wars. And then he was like, you don't know his name? And I was like, yeah, he's like that monkey man or whatever. Like, he makes that sound. And then he's like, oh my god, just stop. I don't think we can be friends anymore. And I was like, wait, just give me a minute. I know his name. I was like, it's like Chewbacca or something. And he was like, oh my god, why am I friends with you? And I guess, like, I don't know, that's like my best memory with him. So, yeah. Thank you.
The first luau that Brandon got involved in when he did the haka, I have to tell you that I tell that story about him, or I use him all the time, because it tells a story, and it says a lot about you guys, but also it says a lot about St. Mark's, that this kid who does not have island looks or island tendencies wanted so much to be Hawaiian, I think. But it also was that I think that Brandon always felt welcome at the Hawaii Club, and he was always open-minded, and I always think of that about him. Robin and I always talk about how much Brandon needed to cut back on some of his fun stuff because of academics. And most parents probably think that of college kids, but I told her the other day when we talked about that, I said, boy, good thing you didn't get your way, because then imagine how many people wouldn't have been touched by Brandon. I also would always say to Brandon in front of his mother, you know, mothers are supposed to give their sons whatever they want. If he needs money, you give it to him. If he needs a car, why haven't you bought Brandon a car? Why haven't you done this? And she was just looking at me ready to punch me out, but there was no way. That was my way of telling Robin that I think she is a great mom. We're both Brandon and Tyler. I don't know Jennifer, but also that you can't imagine how heartbroken she is, because she loved Brandon and Tyler and Jennifer, and the same way we all are hurting. Imagine multiplying that by, I don't know, 500,000 million, because that's what she's going through. And I hope that she knows that we're reaching out to her, because we were lucky that she shared her son with us. Thanks.
I remember the times we left and sang the whole night long, but now you're gone to a better place. Memories will never fade. Someday I know we will meet again in that mansion in the sky. There'll be no more tears, no more broken hearts. We will be as one. again. In that mansion in the sky, there'll be no more tears, no more broken hearts. We will be as one. Daddy loves you, Mommy too. We will never forget you. Daddy loves you, Mommy too. We will never forget you.
Found out about Brandon and this whole situation, and like the first thing that came to me was like hula, because that's how I express like my words and my emotions. So I like choreographed the song or danced to the prayer by Ho'okena.
you will.